Okay, we started to record. So today, everyone, we are meeting here because we have a special call. It's the best practice social media call, and we were looking to have really experts in the call who can share with us what you can do now in times like this, staying at home, coronavirus crisis. Where are the opportunities? I think working now online is a huge opportunity. I saw my colleague Aileng in the last weeks. You are doing a lot online. Also, Marta from Spania. Maybe Aileng, tell us, how is it at the moment working online? What's your feeling about it?
Fun. It's fun. I have more time to do it because usually I'm on the bus, on the way to work, and you want to do something. It's always a bit rushed. I think now is a great opportunity to be able to think about what you want to do, to be able to set up the props, kitchen, living room, wherever. Your house is your oyster. So it's been really good because we sometimes take certain things for granted, and I think this period of confinement is giving us an opportunity to reflect. And when we are going to be out there, everything's going to change. It's going to be so great. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also Marta, I know that Marta is doing a Zoom marathon. She is every day, every hour in Zooms with her amazing team in España, Italia, Portugal. So Marta, tell us, how is it going? A lot of things going online now, huh?
Hello, Ali, and hello, everyone. Yes, well, we try to support each other, and in those moments, we need to be in contact, especially in Spain, Portugal, and Italy. And yes, I'm quite happy helping and supporting members in everything they need, because at the end, it's listening to you, all of you, and understanding what you need. And so, yeah, I am very happy, and I am very happy for joining this call. As Aileng was saying, it's an opportunity to share between leaders and learn much more. I really want to learn much more on this, especially. Thank you, Ali,
Yes.
and thank
Thank,
you.
thank you, Marta. Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, everyone is switching to online now. It's if not yet, when then? Huh? Come on. And that's why we've chosen four great speakers who exactly knows the needs of working online, the needs of working with social media. And I like to start with our first candidate. And before we go to her, I like to introduce you to our country manager, Natasha. And Natasha, our first speaker is from your region, and I would like that you introduce her to us.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you all for joining this great call. It's a great pleasure to see so many of you. And as Ali said, and Marta and Aileng, this is the new era where we will really test how to grow Young Living business online, and I'm sure we will be very, very successful. So the next candidate actually comes from Croatia, and she's the first platinum in Croatia. And it's a great pleasure for me to work with her. Her name is Lucia, and she has a tremendous experience in social media, and she actually grew her business on social media. She's a great leader, has a great team, and they are working together as a team, supporting each other. And actually, thanks to her and her team and other team members in Croatia, Croatia really became one of the fastest growing market in the past year. So Lucia is actually an avid young living lifestyle a member, in a sense that she and all of her family, and she has 3 small children, are really into young living lifestyle, using the products and really walking the talk. So I would really love to introduce Lucia, and it's a great pleasure to have her on the call. And I would like to ask her to share her experience, how she grew her business online in Croatia, even though she has actually international team in different markets in Europe as well as all over the world. So Lucia, I just saw you. on the
Yeah, I'm here.
on the call. You are here. Okay,
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you so much for accepting to
Thank
join
you.
this call. It's a great pleasure to have you. Please.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, and thank you to everyone who is here, and thank you for inviting me to share a little bit of my experience. It is really hard to sum up what running an online business is in just like 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm going to try my best to share some of the things that I personally think are the most important. And so I'm not going to talk about myself a lot, but I am going to say that I have built my business almost entirely online, and we grew to from starter kit to platinum in about 22 months. And I can count on my 10 fingers the amount of times that I actually hosted an in-person class. So I work my business almost entirely online, and the same goes for team management and member care and reaching out and coming in contact with new people from around the world. I do not have any experience when it comes to business. I graduated med school, and I have really no experience when it comes to business. So I kind of learned along the way, but I do have 5+ years of social media experience in terms of being very, very active in sharing my life online and building online communities. And that is something that I want to talk to you about today, because I have a feeling that a lot of people who are not really into the social media world have a tendency to look at it in a completely different way from what it really is. So our business is a business built on connection and relationships. So this is not a business where you can sell products to people and then just grow and become successful. You can, I don't know, maybe earn a small paycheck, but in order to grow an actual team and to be successful at this, you need to grow relationships. That is the number one thing. So the number one most important thing when we talk about social media is that you understand that social media in this business is a means of connection and not a means of advertising. So we are not advertising these products online in hopes of getting people to buy them from us. We are sharing our lives, ourselves online in order to cultivate connection, and then everything else comes from that connection. And I feel like that is where a lot of people tend to get lost, because they see, okay, I have a social media, I have, I don't know, the numbers are really not as important. There are diamonds out there with less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. So it's not important when it comes to numbers. And I have some incredible team members who work online who do not have a massive online following, yet they manage to enroll people and a lot of people every single month. So it's all about creating that connection. And people have the tendency to think like, I have these 500 people following me, so I'm going to just post about the starter kit and wait until someone reaches out to me and asks me if they can buy it. And that's just not how it works. And then people give up because they start posting about oils and nothing happens. And then they just kind of decide that it's not for them. Building a business online is an entirely new way, and it is a job in itself. It requires a lot more time and effort in order to be really successful at it. But at this time right now, we don't have a choice. So whether you like working online or not, you have to if you do want to keep building your business. And one of the main things that I want to encourage you to focus on is building those connections. And the easiest way to do that is creating online communities. And online communities are created by people who are offering other people value and cultivating connection. So when you go on social media, instead of trying to present the product, try presenting yourself. Being very open and vulnerable and willing to share about your life, about your struggles, about the good things, about the stuff that you love that's not just Young Living. That is a great way to start an online community, and then inviting people in it by producing good quality, engaging content. Social media is not a place to show off. It's not a place where you are just gonna I don't know, show the great parts, and a place where you are gonna focus on making people see the products and see what you're using. It's a place where you're going to focus on cultivating connection. And the easiest way to do that is just by showing up every single day and sharing yourself. One of the things, another thing that people don't really realize is when we talk about social media, people are not buying our products. They are buying what they see themselves using that product. So they're buying an experience, and they're buying from a certain person and not the product itself, because there are so many oily Instagrams, for example, and oily pages all over Facebook. And the ones that are actually successful, which is a really, really small number, are the ones where people are cultivating connections, and then people are coming to buy from those people because they feel a connection to them and not because they see a product. So whenever I come across an Instagram page or an Instagram account where there is like no person behind it, it's just products, I can already tell that it does not make any sense and it's not going to work. So if you are looking to build online, creating online communities takes time and effort, but it all starts with you showing up with your face, with your name, and not a photo of a diffuser or a set of oils, and with the way that you live this lifestyle every single day. What are the oils that you use when you wake up? What are the oils that you use in the afternoons? Which supplements are you taking? What are your kids using? Like everything, and just sharing that on a regular basis, as if like you're just sharing a part of your lifestyle. And that's what's going to draw people in. They're going to start asking questions, and then you're going to go deeper and start hosting classes and start inviting people. But it's a process, but it always has to start, if it's going to be successful and meaningful, with a person that's standing in front of that, with a real face, with a real personality, and a real life. So I think that's very, very, very important. Also, creating engaging content means creating something that people will find valuable. So when you're going out and posting on social media, ask yourself this question: is this thing that I'm posting today adding value to anyone on the internet? Is it making people's day better? Is it giving them an opportunity to learn and grow? Is it meaningful in any way? If it's not, don't post it. It's just a waste of time. So try thinking in advance, like if this content that I'm producing is something that can add value to people's lives, then I am going to post it. And if it doesn't, then I'm just not. Also, hosting online classes, I feel like, is a great way to teach people. I started hosting online classes when I started my business, and I continue to do so because my target audience are moms who have little children at home and for whom it's easiest to just sit down at the end of the day and look at a class in a virtual space rather than actually figuring out childcare and coming to an event. My team does a lot of in-person events, obviously not now since we're all at home, but in general. But a lot of our community, and we are over 6,000 now, a lot of them are still mostly engaging and learning online. And there are millions of ways in which you can host online classes, and they're not complicated, and they're not anything that you have to be a great expert at. So what we do on Facebook, we create smaller groups. We have pre-made scripts and graphics for each and every one of our classes. We have different topics, but we focus mainly on introducing people to this lifestyle. We talk about like natural wellness. We talk about intro to essential oils. We talk about detoxing your home, and we mix around topics so that it's not just like young living. It's more like we're inviting you to learn about how you can use our products to make a complete lifestyle change. And I feel like that's why we enroll a lot of people on Essential Rewards, because we get them interested for the long run right away. And hosting online classes is a great way to do that, especially on Facebook, where you can schedule out all the posts and just do a couple of live videos and again, be the person who is hosting the class. It's very important, even when you're doing online classes, to show up as yourself and share your story. So whenever I host an online class, I always do a live video or two where I share why I started, what are my favorite products, why I think Starter Kit is the best option to get started. And I really engage with the people who are in the group. You can invite people like from your list of friends, from your list of like potential new enrollments. You can advertise it and maybe get some people interested outside of your circle. And then when you host a class like that, the most important thing is to create communication, because even if you like post a great class to Instagram or do a great class on Facebook, if you are not directly communicating with the people attending the class, you're missing out on creating connections and potential future enrollments or new builders. So following up, saying thank you after every class. Thank you for coming. Thank you for going through the posts. I hope they were useful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. That's how you start communicating with people online. And it's a lot of work, to be honest, because once you get really into it, you will find yourself responding to messages for hours on end, but it's part of building an online business. It's definitely an essential part of it. We also do Instagram story classes. Some of my team members do Instagram chat classes. We also do broadcast messages on WhatsApp group classes, Zoom classes. Recently, we did like an ER Zoom class where myself and a couple of my leaders sat with over 200 people on a Zoom call, and we chatted about Essential Rewards and all of our favorite products. And I sent a newsletter to my entire downline, inviting them to the call. So there are a lot of ways you can actually share this online. And it is, in my opinion, even easier for people to consume that kind of content than it is for them to organize a way to come and physically be present for a gathering of some kind, especially if they're like in my target audience group, like moms with small children. Another thing that I've done from the very beginning of my business was creating a virtual space for my team. And I think this is something that absolutely every team needs, regardless of whether you work in person or online, and if your team is local to you or not, because in times like this, I'm extremely thankful that we're just one click away from being together. We have our business group where we share all the resources, all the classes, all the graphics, all the scripts, all the materials, all the videos, all the encouragement, the inspiration, the books that we read, our gratitude posts, our affirmations, everything. And it's like a safe, positive space where we can all get together every single day. And just showing up in such a virtual space makes everyone feel like we're still together. And I know a lot of teams are experiencing that distancing feeling since they're physically distanced right now. And if you are someone who is normally used to like meeting with your team members on a weekly basis, you cannot do that. But when you have a virtual space to connect like every single day, it is a great way to keep that alive and to keep that team momentum going. And we also do like Zoom calls, team Zoom calls every single Monday, and we talk about relevant topics. We sometimes chat, sometimes we talk about like different things, but we are cultivating that online connection because it leads to this possibility that we can be anywhere in the world, each and every one of us, and still work as a team, still work closely, and still be like in this together. And I feel like that is really, really, really important, because when life gets rough and when you're just physically not able to be there for your people, you can always virtually be there. You can always send like an encouraging message. You can always pop in with a live video and just explain how you're doing and what's going on. And I feel like cultivating those kinds of connections are crucial when it comes to creating a team that works together and stays together, because the more your team grows, the more challenges you're going to be facing. But if you are creating that culture of communication and connection that is continuous and growing stronger by each day, it's never going to be an issue. And those hardships and harder periods are the things that are going to keep you even closer together. And that's why we always like experience growth in times when most people aren't growing, and what we push through those hard times and learn so much from them. And I feel like that virtual space and being present online really helps us do that. We also have online educational groups for all of our members where they can learn about the oils, about other products, about everything, about all the DIY recipes, diffuser recipes, all the things that they need right there, like on Facebook. So if you are someone who never used these tools, and they're all free tools, I highly encourage you to start, because they will not only make your business life easier, they will also make cultivating those connections a lot easier in the long run, because you are going to be able to be anywhere in the world and you'll still be able to show up every single day for your members, for your team members, and for the entire community. And I feel like cultivating those communities online is also a lot easier if you already have some kind of a presence. And I really don't think that anyone needs a massive following, or that anyone needs a blog, or being like an influencer of any kind is just not a requirement when it comes to building online communities, but presence is. So showing up every day with your face, with or without makeup and pretty clothes, it does not matter. Just showing up and being seen is what allows other people to connect with you. And when you show up every day, whether it's your business group or your personal Instagram or your oily Instagram or whatever you are using, it's going to pay off, because someone's watching even when you think they aren't, and there's always going to be that one person who needed to see that video or read that post or anything, and maybe that person, like in 2 or 3 months from now, is going to be your new business builder. So there are so many opportunities out there, and by not using them in this time, we are just missing out on so much. Europe is such a huge market and such a small market at the same time. We have so little members compared to how many people we have. And I feel like working online is the future in a way, because a lot of like younger people are already oriented towards spending more time online than offline. And the more we engage, the more communities we create, the easier it's going to be for us to spread this message. And by creating these positive virtual spaces for people to come and enjoy and learn about our products and about the lifestyle, we're creating this huge positive momentum that is just going across all the countries. And like Natasha mentioned, we are mostly Croatian-based team, but we also have a team in Finland, in France, and in Czech Republic. And it just doesn't matter where you are. If you are cultivating a certain style of community online, it can be duplicated in other countries and other languages. And yeah, I think that's it for what I wanted to say. If anyone has any questions, I'm not sure if I am allowed to answer them or not, but feel free to ask.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, so many input. That's amazing, really. I'm sure. I saw everybody is writing. I was also writing stuff. Let's do it this way. If you have questions for Lucia now, write them in the chat, and she can answer them in the chat during we go continuing with the next speaker.
Okay.
Is that fun? So yeah, thank you very much, Lucia. Thank you very much, Natasha.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
What a great start. What a great start. Okay, now I'd like to pass over to our lovely country manager, Ai-Leng, with our next speaker, please.
Hi, hello everyone. So my name is Ai-Leng. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the country manager for UK, Ireland, France, Belgium, and Netherlands. So I actually have 2 speakers today, and we're going to start with the first one, and it's Celine from France. So I think a lot of you might have seen Celine, because she started off as a blogger, and I still remember my first conversation with her, and she said, yeah, I started on social media, I started with a blog, you know, because actually I don't like people coming to my house. And she just, I still remember that, even though that conversation was like, you know, almost 2 years ago. Celine is someone you're going to see as she's going to talk. She's got lots of energy. Her personality really comes through. And she was like sending me a little chat just now saying, wow, Lucia is so amazing. But she's also talking a lot of some of the things that I'm going to say. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to hear it again. But the reason why they might have certain things that are similar to say is because they're experts, and that's how they get there, you know. Celine has prepared a PowerPoint. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you'll have something visual to follow as well as she takes you through. She's a very busy mom with a 4-year-old, very cute. But I know that she's a bit of a demon because she doesn't have that much time. So whatever time she gets, a demon in a nice way. She's very efficient. She uses social media a lot. I can't think of a better person to take us through and teach us, master, mistress. Go.
Well, thank you. That is a little bit scary now with that introduction. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm very happy to be talking about a passion of mine. So yeah, I'm really goal driven. So when Eileen asked for this presentation, I was like, okay, I need to make a PowerPoint. So I'm going to share my screen if you don't mind. And I cannot. I think I need I cannot share my screen. Oh, yeah, now I can. Thank you. Okay. Is that okay? Everybody can see the screen? Wonderful. So I'm Celine. I'm half Spanish and half French. I live in the south of France, and I've been building a business with Young Living for 4 years now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story, but that will be really short. It's just to explain how I got into the Young Living business and why I'm doing social media. So I'm a mom. I'm a former scrapbooker. So I don't know if you know this crafty thing. So it's like you use paper and you use photos. And I was blogging a lot and teaching a lot of online classes everywhere in the world online, and also traveling. I went to over 40 countries to teach scrapbook classes. I know this sounds crazy, but that allowed me to create a community everywhere, and that also working online, like blogging. And I grew up with social media. Like I was invited to use Pinterest when it started, and I was probably among the first when I decided to use Instagram as a tool to grow business. At the time that I signed up for Instagram, it was more like, I was curious, but now I use it as a tool. And I learned all the way. I grew up with, building a business online. I had a scrapbook magazine and an online store selling paper crafts and stuff. And I learned that creating a community online was a key to actually build a really good business online. And the thing is, I taught myself a lot of things. Like I'm the kind of person that when I don't know how to use something, but I think it's valuable to grow my business, I need to learn. Like, for example, I knew that I needed to work on the SEO of my blog to get better research online and everything. So I had to learn this, and I took online classes and such. So think about this for the people that follow you online. They want to learn a new way to, solve some issues and stuff. You need to teach them. They need to learn from you. You're the teacher here. So I like this quote, and I really like Seth Godin because he's one of my marketing guru. A tribe is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. For millions of years, human beings have been part of one tribe or another. A group needs only two things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate. And this is what we do on the field, and this is what we do online. What you need to realize is that the work that we do, like building a Young Living business, whether it's having people coming at your house or teaching in the store, is no different than building online. Because like Lucia said, we need to make relationship. We need to connect with people. We need to share our stories. And this is no different, being online or being like in front of people. So the first thing that you need to understand, that if you want to build a tribe online, is that you have to be true to yourself and you have to be you. Well, there are thousands and thousands of Young Living distributors. There's only one you. There's only one you. What I mean by this is that people will buy you first before they will buy your product. You really need to understand this. People that follow you on Instagram, on Facebook, on your blog, on Pinterest, wherever, on YouTube, they actually think you're alike because you share the same values, you share the same interest, you share the same philosophy. So don't try to please everyone. You have to find people that relate to your stories, to your experiences, and to the values that you share online. So I know this one is hard because we
louder. Continue.
Okay. Hi. So I know this one is hard to, feel like you have to be yourself because you're out there. You need to start your first Facebook Live and you're like, nobody's going to give me a like. Nobody's going to comment because I'm just like everyone else. Come on, you're not. You have your own stories. You have your own experiences with your oils. So you have to share those. Of course, if you share what a peppermint oil can do, of course, you're going to have the same story as someone that did a live the day before. But if you share the way you use it, it can be different. The way that you tell the story will be different. The tone of your voice, your personality, and that needs to shine online, okay? So this one is going to be hard. The first thing you need to reconcile with if you really want to grow your tribe is that not everyone is going to be a fit for your message. That doesn't mean that you should turn people away or be rude. It just means that while you may have a wide array of fans, there's going to be a select group, probably from the same age or places. That is your target audience. And that target audience is your best chance to convert into a tribe, into fans. I like to say fans. For example, the question that you need to ask yourself first to know your tribe is to actually say, who am I? I am Celine. I was born in the south of France from a Spanish dad and a French mom. I am a mom. I had my ups and downs in my life. I'm going to share, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to share what I like. I like to travel. I like to go to, I was about to say to the gym class, but not anymore. But there's a lot of things that makes me unique. And those are the things that I'm going to share. And from the different things that I am, people will relate to those stories. And that's how you find your tribe. They're going to connect on different levels. So you have to create valuable content to show who you are. And you have to choose your lineup. You have to design a website that looks like your personality and post to your social media with your target audience in mind. If you're a mom, you're going to talk to moms. I mean, I'm a mom. I'm not going to talk about, let's say, yoga, because I don't do yoga. So you will never see yoga ideas or yoga that or yoga this, because I don't do yoga. So I don't feel comfortable sharing about yoga. And my target audience, my tribe, is not really into yoga. They're moms mainly, or they're business people. So this is an example of something that I wanted to share to show the real me, the mom with my girl, and a story about a day that she wasn't feeling so good and how we managed to, you know, handle the day with oils and cuddles and things. And this has been quite a popular post because people were sharing like tips and tricks about, excuse me, non, après amour, s'il te plaît. So we have to think about the ups and downs that we need to share. Arrête, je suis occupée là, mon cœur. Excuse me for this. Another thing is that you have to create an emotional connection. We are humans, and humans work with humans. So when you get right down to it, this is the thing that takes brands from having an average following to fiercely loyal fans that will buy your products, attend your online events, just click on the like, comment, follow buttons. Take a second to think about your favorite bloggers or singers, actors, or even favorite brands. What is it about them that you connect with so well? Is it the stories that they tell? Is it the ups and downs that they've been going through? And then you're going to be like, it's not going to be so simple as I like that product. It's something different. You just dig a little bit deeper and you will find there's something else going on there. There's an emotional connection, and that's key. You need to create this with your people. You relate and you feel a kind of, you know, kindship. So you invest and you follow and you connect and you respond and you create something unique with those people. It's just nothing compared to anything salesy. You just create relationship with others, and that's mainly emotions. For example, when I started with Young Living, I didn't start for the business. I was like at the end of my pregnancy, and I was searching for, you know, a solution. And I saw a post on Facebook from a really old friend that I've been working with in the scrapbooking industry, and that is Corinne Delis. She's my sponsor and roller, and we've been friends for years. I trust her, and we think alike. When she told me about the oils, I was like, okay, I trust her because we've been friends for years, and I knew that what she was sharing was valuable because that's what I've been seeing for many years when she shared something online. So you have to spend some time figuring out your why as an individual, but also as an entrepreneur. Because being on social media, back in the days, like 4 years ago or now, you have to realize that social media is not just a way to be seen. It's actually a tool for your business. So that's why I'm not on Facebook. I'm using Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm using Instagram. These are tools to me. Like I've been working on email marketing for years. It's not just a way to, you know, send updates about my new blog post. It's a tool for me to reach out to people in a more intimate way. So you have to ask yourself, why are you building this business? Why is this your calling? Why do you believe so much in your oils that you have to share about them? Once you reply to those questions, you will have so many things to share online, offline. Anyway, this is key to moving forward and building a tribe. If you share your enthusiasm, the way that you feel it when you use your oils and that you feel that they're working, if you share that enthusiasm with your tribe, they're going to be like, okay, I want that. If she likes it, I'm going to like it, because you've been building trust, and at some point they will follow you everywhere, because you have been showing them the way to a certain solution to their problems. Can you turn off your mic, please? Thanks. So there's an example of that. This, oh my God, the screenshot is horrible. This is a Facebook Live that I was doing on my Facebook page, I guess. And I was sharing a very intimate thing about myself, is about my weight loss journey. So this is something that I'm very comfortable talking with. But I know some people struggle with this. I know we've been struggling with weight loss. But I think that if you step up your game, get out of your comfort zone, and share that kind of journey, for example, you share a part of yourself. You are still king or the boss of the words that you share, the way that you share. But if you share a little bit of your journey, people will relate. So how many people I got in private messages after that saying, whoa, you've been doing such a journey and you've been inspiring, and I would love to follow you, you know, in that kind of journey. How can I do? So they need help on weight loss, but they need help, you know, on building self-love and all that kind of things. And I think we also provide that by showing them all the things that they can do with our products. But in the first place, you need to give yourself a little bit if you want people to, you know, do the same with you. You need to connect and build a relationship if you want people to actually buy it from you. And you have, of course, you need to provide great value content. To me, this is key, because it's not just, okay, I'm going on a Facebook Live and I'm going to talk, okay, I'm going to talk about, let's say, and then you didn't prepare anything and you don't know what you're talking about. You need to prepare great value content based on the people that follow you on Facebook, on Instagram, and know that depending on the different social media, there's going to be different people, okay? Instagram is for the young people. Well, not so young now. But Facebook is going to be more for the 40 plus. So, of course, you're not gonna... That's true. That's true. The other day I was talking with a teenager and was like, Facebook? So yeah, you have to think about the different ways. I mean, it's different communicating on Facebook and communicating on Instagram, but the same thing is that you need to provide great value content for sure. I know you've heard this one before, but it's a valuable piece of advice if you just looking to up your social media game, or if you just get started. I always compare it to a friendship. If you had a friend that just constantly talked about themselves and nothing else, you end up that friendship pretty quickly, right? Social media is the same way. I think it's natural to talk about what you have going on, what the oils can do, and there's a premium starter kit and there's the essential rewards. But if it's the only thing you talk about, you're going to lose people pretty quickly as they begin to follow you, because nobody likes a narcissist, for sure. But this becomes even more important when you factor in building a tribe. Referring back to the last point, creating and maintaining an emotional connection with your fans is a key part of the process. Let's say 15 posts in a row about your premium starter kit will not do that, for sure. That's valuable content, but probably not 15 posts in a row on Instagram. But personal posts about what you're going through as a mother, as a person with, you know, a weight issue, and what the oils bring to you, or graphics that highlight relatable issues you can fight for, or articles that speak to your core beliefs and ideals. Well, that will lead to strengthening that bond for sure. You have to be emotional. You have to share your story, the ugly and the beautiful. And of course, you have to ask your people to share as well. You have to share testimonials. You have to talk with them. You have to connect with them. You have to highlight them. So for example, you have someone that share a valuable story about the way that they use the product, and it's like a customer. Ask them, like, okay, would you mind if I share your post on my Instagram? That is wonderful. That is seriously wonderful. That's one of the best thing that can happen to you, is to have testimonials from your people. So for example, here, I made a Facebook Live for Young Living Day that was very popular. I shared stories for every single oils from my premium starter kit. I had stories for every single oils. So in the end, I was not talking about the premium starter kit. I was talking about, you know, stories and experiences and all that kind of thing. And in the end, I sold probably 3-4 premium starter kit in 1 hour. So people relate to stories. They don't relate to products. Of course, you have to show up exactly the same way that you show up if you teach classes. So you can show up on online events, online classes, Facebook or Instagram lives. You can also have like your own way of, you know, like your own hashtag that will be your own slang that you have among your tribe. So you have to look for ways to make your group bond and become a tribe. But one thing that is key on social media is to actually show your face. I know this is going to be tough for a lot of you, but you can do this. Anyone can do this. Like I have this trick when I have people say, no, I don't do live because I have my phone like this and I don't like to see my face on the screen. I'm like, just stick a paper on it. You just stick a paper on your phone, so you do your Facebook Live and you're not going to see your face anymore. So if that's the problem, if that's the issue of seeing your own face, then you just put a sticker on it. And you have to do this. How can you have people relate to stories if they cannot relate to a human being? Like, I know that depending on the personalities, there's a connection or there's not. Okay, and like I said in the first point, your personality is unique and you won't please everyone. So those people that I attract, they will enjoy my personality. Those who don't, they will just go away and they will buy a premium starter kit from someone they will relate to. Okay, so you have also to show your face pretty often. So that means in your feed on Instagram, let's say every 5-6 pictures, you have to show your face. You have to do Facebook Lives. You have to do Instagram Lives. You have to do Instagram stories. I'm only covering Instagram and Facebook because that's mainly the tools that I'm using. But also when I blog, when I share on Pinterest, well, that's a little bit different. It's not a social media. It's more like a search website, a little bit like Google, but very, very valuable. So connecting with your tribe on live event allows you to take the time to listen to what they have to say. Also, showing up on Facebook Lives is not only about, hey, here's some stress away, here's the premium starter kit, but it's also, okay, I'm going to talk about emotions. I'm going to share my stuff, but I want to know your stories as well. And you connect. And you have no idea how valuable this is, to connect with your people and to ask them questions, and they're going to reply, and you're going to make that bond. And at some point you're going to build friendships, and those friends, they will follow you. So you have to engage as well with your people. So being on Instagram is not like, okay, I will just put my picture on my feed and leave and wait for people to like and comment. No, you have to be present in Instagram stories. You have to go and engage with people. And now with the new algorithm on Instagram, it calculates the time you spend on the app engaging with people. So that means that if you post on Instagram and leave, Instagram will be like, okay, that girl, she comes on the platform, she posts her stuff, and then she leaves. She doesn't care about a tribe. So you have to go and engage with people. And it's not just like double tap, comment, heart, star, thumbs up. That's not a comment. You need to engage. You need to make phrases. You need to make words to show your interest as well. Another way to show up and build your tribe online is to be on Facebook groups. Have your Facebook group. That's where you will grow your tribe to the next level. Like being on Instagram and being on Facebook is like, you know, when you go to a store and you see the entrance, that would be an Instagram feed and a Facebook page. But then if you want to know more about that storefront that you really like, you want to get in, and then you get all the content of that store, and that will be in your Facebook group. And that's where all the magic happens. Online events, classes, follow-ups, and giveaways, and all that kind of thing. So these are two examples of my Instagram feed lately. So you see my face a little bit. So I have no problem showing my face. So this is me as a kid. So you really have to show who you are so that people can connect, and you have to show up pretty often. And the last thing is the most important, is to be consistent. Like it's like in your business. If you're not consistent in your business, you're going to lose it. If you're not consistent in social media, then you have like your best enemy is called algorithm. So if you just post once every 2 months, then it doesn't make any sense. I think it's better to say, okay, I plan on posting 3 times a week because that's the only time frame that I can allow myself to do. Then go for 3 times a week, but stay consistent on those 3 days. Check your stats, see the best time of the day to share your post, and be consistent. Okay, so algorithm are going to be your best enemies here if you don't plan and are not consistent with the content you deliver to your people. And that is for Facebook, that is for Instagram, that is for blogging, that is for email marketing, that is for Pinterest. Try to come up with an editorial plan for the content you want to share on Facebook, on Instagram, on a blog, on a newsletter, on Pinterest, on YouTube. Plan everything. And if you are like me, I have lots of planners, because that's actually an addiction. But I also use useful online tools like Trello, Slack, or Asana to keep track of my posts and analytics and other things, because I like numbers as well. But please understand this. Your success needs to be measurable, and to be measurable, it needs to be planned. So that means that you have to show up yourself, but you have to show up like being consistent. Like if you say on Mondays, I'm doing Facebook Live, show up every Monday for a Facebook Live. People are not asking for a 2 hours Facebook Live. They're gonna die, they're gonna quit. But just start with a 3 minutes Facebook Live every Monday. And then once you get used to it, let's say, okay, now I'm gonna do a 5 minute, and then I'm gonna do 10 minutes. Oh, and then from next week on, I'm gonna do Instagram as well. Yeah. Building a business online is not a hobby. It requires skills, and of course, but I tend to think anyone can learn. But even if it requires to be consistent in the quality of the content you deliver, this is the perfect timing for you to learn how to do this and to get your business to the next level. There's not a better time at the moment to, take it as a challenge. At some point, there's always a challenge in our lives, in our business, that says, oh, this is not going to be easy because I don't know how to do it. Well, anybody can learn. When you were a kid, you didn't know how to ride a bike. You fell a couple of times, but you got on the bike again, and now you can ride a bike. And even if you don't know, and even if you don't ride a bike for years, you will not forget. And I really think that same for social media, same for running a business online. You have to learn the tricks, and once you know them, it's gonna flow. So thank you very much. I was very chatty, right? And if you have any question, I will probably just do like Lucia, and I will reply to comments and stuff. So thank you, and stay safe.
Awesome. What a great call, guys. It's amazing. So, I mean, amazing. I can't say anything more. We have really experts here, as you can see, guys. And thank you so much for adding so much value here already.
Thank you for having me.
So far, so great. So, but as Aileng said, she has another expert in her pocket with us.
In my pocket, let me look. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Celine. Like I said, she's got great personality, and I'm sure you all saw that. It came through. I have another treat for you guys. Danielle, I saw her earlier. There's so many, we've got so many people. We've got more than 200 people in this call, guys. So I kind of lost sight of Danielle for a little bit. So Danielle Slingelen is our platinum leader in the Netherlands. She also has a plate full. She works with her husband, and they have 2 children, 2 boys, 2 beautiful, almost grown-up boys. And she's going to talk to us about algorithms, which Celine has already touched on, and how important it is to be really authentic in your storytelling. And she's got she's someone who's very crafty. I often see it pops up in her Instagram of the earrings that she has made, or she was making something with crystals, oil necklace or something. And her stories are very, very real, very authentic. And she shares about family life. It's all about lifestyle. So everything that you've heard so far about from Lucia and from Celine, you will find that there is a common thread going through. But I'm going to let Danielle take over, and she can explain her story much better because she's got very strong identity, and you know, I want her to have the chance to tell you guys herself. So Danielle, wherever you are, take it away, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Aileng, for the introduction, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in and trying to learn more. I mean, I'm learning more. I'm taking notes, and so I think it's great that Young Living is doing this for everyone to help them in this time. So I will try and talk a bit slower than I usually do for everyone to keep up. Because what I've noticed with my rehearsing this a bit is that I've been talking really fast, and I'm afraid that will make it harder for people. So I'm going to try and do my best. Also, my internet is acting up, so I've got 2 devices on, so I can switch. So I'm trying to make it as good as I can for you all. So I started my Young Living business in June 2014, and I actually started sharing online on Facebook and Instagram and hosting classes online on Facebook even before I did anything in real life. So like Celine, I was very active in social media. Before I started my Young Living business, I too had a business in scrapbooking. Actually, that's how I know Celine. And I had a web shop and where I sold products and I gave classes, and the shop part wasn't as much fun as giving classes. As Aileng said, and every time I wanted to learn something new, I tried to connect with people that knew how to do it, and I brought them together in Facebook groups. To this day, I have many Facebook groups that have nothing to do with Young Living, like a crochet group, because I once wanted to learn how to crochet, and I have now 7,000 members in that group. And I still barely know how to crochet, but it's still fun. So sharing online and connecting and showing up on social media was something I'd always done. And some people could say I overshare. They're probably right. My profile on Facebook is open. This is a personal choice I made, because if I don't want other people to see it, I will not be sharing it on Facebook, or I will change the settings, which you can do. You can set it to just my friends and not for everyone to see, but that rarely happens. So when I started my Young Living business, it was an easy transition to do this online. That said, I don't think that it's not something you should be afraid to do now, to start now, if it's not something you have been used to doing. Like the others have said, it does take a lot of time and it does take a lot of effort. Instagram more so than Facebook, because Facebook is just connecting with the people you already know, and sometimes you get an invite from someone you don't know, and then you can connect that way. And being on social media has brought me many friendships. When I started scrapbooking, not everyone in the same city as I lived in the same city as I did, so you know, we connected online, and the same goes for my Young Living community. So this evening I wanted to share, rather than just all about what the rest have been sharing, I wanted to specifically share about what it means to show up authentically on social media and why that is so important. You could share other people's stories and you could share other people's pictures, but people will know it's not you. They will read it, they will see it in the pictures. When I started, and that was basically at the same time as my upline started, our uplines, because we started at the same time, was in the United States. So we could not reuse what she was using, because in Europe, you know, obviously we have different products, different kits. And rather than looking at it as an obstacle, I looked at it as something that helped me, because it already ensured that I was showing up authentically, and I had to, you know, make my own story, and I had to share my own pictures. So this evening I want to specifically talk about the algorithms and what has happened on Instagram, and that will what will be happening on Facebook. It affects how we are seen, and it affects how we show up in the feed of the people that we want to reach. So for those of you that are on Instagram, you will know that there have been some changes. Instagram wanted to have us focus more on connection and not so much on how many followers you have and how many likes your post has. And so they took away the option for others to see how many likes an influencer had, for instance, on their post. And they hope that that would ensure that people would not focus so much on that, but more on connections. They saw that it was becoming too important in the lives of people on Instagram, and that sometimes it even had a negative influence on it. There was one influencer that something happened to her account, and she became all depressed because she lost all the followers, and it was really having a negative effect on her emotional state and her mental showing up in pictures showing how slim they are, or how strong they are, or how great their life is. It did affect a lot of people on Instagram. It made them think that the grass was greener on the other side, when in reality it was only a little part of the life of that person that they were seeing. So they have been banning certain hashtags that are too general, the reuse of the same hashtag on every post, because Instagram saw that as an automated system or a service or a bot. And the same with using exactly 30 hashtags on every post you do. And they've also been particularly strict with hashtag used for the promotion of weight loss, MLM, fitness. So they have been trying all kinds of things to make people be more authentic. So Celine is already saying only 6 hashtags. A contact of mine said, you know, between 7 and 12, but just don't use a big amount. I said a few months ago to my community, oh, you need to share 30 hashtags. And this is already, after a few months, already changed. So it's very important to keep up to date with that. Stories and IGTV have become even more popular. It means, it gives you more posts than one post on your Instagram. It gives you the possibility to do more. And when you spread those out over the day, so not just posting 6 stories in the morning and nothing else for the rest of the day, will also not help you. So if you do post on stories, you should, do every few hours, share something. And so every time that your followers check in, they have something to check out when they look at your feed. And did you also know that the use of hashtags in your stories and IGTV also helps you with your algorithm? And there's a trick that you can hide them so you don't see them all, and that it's kind of spoils your pretty picture that you're sharing in your story. And all those changes have made it more challenging for Lucia, for Celine and myself and all the other people on Instagram, because now the algorithm is just working against us. So we had to make sure that we were doing all the right things for people to to see our pictures. Sometimes I even delete fake followers, and I did this. I've deleted 1,200 fake followers, or people. Well, 600 were fake followers, and 600 were people that never engaged with me. And you know, doing that was like really scary. It made my numbers plummet. But on the other hand, it ensured that now I see people on my feed that I want to connect with. So it worked out, you know, good in the end, but it was a hard pill to swallow, going from almost 2,000 followers to way down, and now I have like 1,900, and thinking, oh wow, you know, if I didn't delete those 1,200, I would have been further now. But sometimes it's more about quantity or quality than quantity. So I'd rather have, you know, 1,900 followers with whom I can engage and I see their posts as well and we talk to each other, than having 1,200 more and not seeing the people that I really like to connect with. So it's hard to keep up with the changes, even for me. Luckily, I have some connections through a course that I was doing a while back, and they help me keep up, because there's someone that has connections himself in the social media world, so he usually gets a heads up. But don't worry if you don't have those connections, because showing up is so much more important than doing everything perfectly. So learn from what the ladies have been sharing, and you know, take notes, but don't worry if you're not doing it perfectly, because you don't have to. You just have to show up. So Facebook was invented as a platform to connect online with friends and family, and maybe even make new friends online. And Facebook wants us to connect more, not just scroll and not just like all the posts, because that's what people do, but to really engage with each other and keep up with each other's lives. And when you have a lot of friends and family, you might have noticed that you don't see all the posts. And you don't see it the same day. Sometimes you see it a few days later. And this has to do with your engagement. So the algorithm is set up that it only shows you the friends that you engage with. And with engagement, you know, again, Celine touched on it. It's not a thumbs up. It's not a heart. It's not all the other emojis that you can touch on Facebook. Engaging is leaving a comment or a few words, not a fist bump in the comments or commenting LOL, but rather something like, wow, I love that lipstick you're wearing, or, oh, I didn't know that about you, thanks for sharing, or great life, I learned so much. If you don't regularly leave a comment, chances are they won't see your posts and you won't see theirs. Now, of course, you can select that. On Facebook, there is an option you can select that you can say, oh, these people are important to me. I would like to see their post before I see anyone else. But there's a limit to that. So make sure to engage with the people that are important to you. Connecting this way with your network, like your friends, your family, your acquaintances, was already important, and that is changing even more with the new algorithm and software that Facebook is installing. Facebook wants you not only to engage, but they want you to be more authentic. They are making changes to promote personal use rather than business use of their platform. They have software that scans images, text, and photo details. Now, these changes, they mean that using your own photo instead of stock photos, the photos that you purchase, or telling your own personal story rather than copying and pasting someone else's, will become even more important. Most people know your style, and they will spot it if you copy a post, a story of someone else. So be inspired by someone and make your own story. You can be inspired and write a post that is similar, but not word for word the same. People want you to see you use the products rather than pretty pictures of products. Lucy has said this. They want to see you and your life and you using the product. They want to see you. They become interested in you before they become interested in Young Living, not the other way around. So don't worry if the photos are not perfect. Obviously, they can't be blurry or too dark, but people prefer real to something that looks like an advertisement, because that is what a perfectly curated graphic looks like. So one of the things that we noticed the algorithm was already changing was with Black Friday. I had a bunch of team members that copied, they all used the same text to promote Black Friday. They all used Young Living photos to promote it on their timeline, not in their, just in the groups, but on their timeline, and they were blocked by Facebook. They couldn't use their account for a few hours. And this can be a big problem if you're trying to promote an amazing deal on the platform where all your clients or all your potential members are. I mean, they're not going to see it. How are you going to connect with them? Are you going to call them all? That's not going to work. So when you repost someone else's story, that's why I'm so an advocate for this, is always, always, always write why you are reposting someone else's story. When I scroll through my feed and someone else reposts something, I usually don't pay attention because I have no idea what they are reposting. But when I share something, when I repost a funny video or a story or an article that I find interesting, I will share why I am sharing that, why I'm reposting it, why I want everyone else to enjoy it. And by doing that, people will not just scroll by, but they will read what I'm saying. If it interests them, they will watch it. Just think about how you do social media, you know, in the bathroom, in the bus, in the passenger seat, in the car. What do? You scroll. And I have a lot of times people share because they like what I'm sharing, and they just repost it. And I think, well, you know, why don't you try to make your own post? It will have so much more effect if you do that. Stories and videos are also going to become much more important on Facebook. We know the option came by that you can share stories on Facebook. This happens for a reason. It's the preparation for the next step to come. And so I urge you, if you've not tried to make a story, if your social media platform is Facebook or whether it's Instagram, start practicing now. So when the changes come on Facebook, you're ready for it. If you're afraid to do a live, you know, Celine gave an amazing tip, you know, to do a sticky note on the lens so you don't see yourself. But you can also start practicing in your group. I mean, those people want to listen to you anyway, so why not show up there and practice there? And let me tell you that doing a Facebook Live or a Zoom is so much easier than trying to pre-record a video, because the perfectionist in you will pop up. And I can tell you, I've tried this and I've just let it go. I don't do those anymore. So I really prefer to do Facebook Lives, because what would happen if I would record a video, and my husband will go nuts when I do that, because then I will go, oh no, I made a mistake. Click, start again. Oh no, I said something wrong. Book, click. And then before you know it, you will have like 30 takes. I mean, in the movies, they have that all the time, all those bloopers, but it will take you forever to make a video. So just do it live. Just say, oh, I don't care. And if you make a mistake, I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes in this Zoom already. You know, I have my notes on the side and I'm trying to do it all perfect, but that doesn't work. So just go on. If you say something wrong or you forget to say something, just correct it, carry on. There's no other option in life, and that's what makes it great to do. Let me just grab a drink. This is what happens when I get excited and talk because I think I'm talking quicker than I promised to. So start now, start practicing now. If you're a Facebook person, start practicing on Facebook. By the time the algorithm changes, you will be way prepared, and you know, try it out. To be honest, I still have, I'm going to be forcing myself to do more little live videos on Instagram and on IGTV. And I've been practicing on Facebook, so I know I'm ready to do it there. And this will help me, you know, get my algorithm going the way I want it to. So using hashtags on Facebook, I don't know how the other ladies do it. Maybe they can share, but for me, it's always been 3 hashtags. I think that's the way to go on Facebook. And I don't even, they don't make sense when I use hashtags on Facebook, because to be honest, I don't think a lot of people click on hashtags on Facebook the way that they do on Instagram. But what I do try to do is make them relate to the story I'm telling, and more often than not, I will make a really crazy one. So it will make no sense. No one else will be using it, but I will just make a really long sentence that says, this picture was crazy, but I'm sharing it anyway for you to have some laughs. That might be a hashtag I use. And then with every word, I just use a capital to start each word so people can read it more easily. I don't expect it to attract new friends with my hashtags. So that's something I do. I usually make them quite funny. If you have a Instagram account or another public social media account and you want to reuse those photos, keep in mind that cropping a photo, so making it smaller, chopping a part off, will not make it more unique on Facebook. So the software that Facebook has scans your picture and looks at it how many times it's been used. So what you can do to help you with that, you know, because we all want to use as much of the same photo as we can. I mean, who wants to make 5 pictures for all the different profiles? Nobody. So what you can do is you can change the name after you've posted it on Instagram, and you want to reuse that one on Facebook. You can start by changing the photo, the name. You can do that in the details of the photo, and then it will have a different name. So that will help a little bit. What you can also do is use a color photo on Instagram and a black and white photo on Facebook. That will also make it different, or the other way around, obviously. What you can also do is flip it horizontally. I tend to do that. So what I do is I have a photo where I'm sitting like this on Instagram, and then after using it there, I will flip it with a little, you know, there are many tools on your phone that can do this, and then I will be like this. That will also make the photo different. Of course, if you have letters on your shirt or you're holding a bottle of Ningxia, that flipping thing will, you know, be more difficult. But then you can use the black and white option. So for that, the Facebook just wants you to be more authentic and be unique with what you are doing. So that is what I hope you will take from this. Don't let all the things that we've been talking about here keep you from sharing. Don't freak out and think, oh no, I'm never, you know, I don't want to share anything anymore because it's too hard, all the rules. Don't be worried about that. Just start sharing, start using your own voice, start from there, and don't worry about it being too perfect. You have time for that later. Just start getting it into your system, using Facebook, using Instagram, or whatever platform you prefer. But just start showing up consistently, sharing your story. That's the most important thing. People don't need it to be perfect. They need it to be you. So that was for me. I hope this has helped you and will help you. And you know, if you have any questions, let me know. And you can find me on any social media platform, really. I'm everywhere, and we can connect.
Wow, Danielle. I mean, look, guys, I have to tell you one thing. After listening now to these three speakers, I feel I'm a social media noob, that I know nothing. It's crazy. I learned so much. Thank you so much. And I can see in the comments that you all are enjoying the three speakers. So glad. We are very happy that you love it. So maybe we can do it again once. But we are still not done with it. So thank you so much, Danielle and Eileen, for having these two great ladies. And now I like to pass over to our lovely P, our country manager for the Nordics, with our next speaker.
Good evening, everybody, and regards from the Northern Lights. These are the nice tools that we have nowadays in our Zoom system. So, yeah, we have this amazing lady, Eva Runesdotter, from the country that has so many people, so many opportunities, all 360,000 members to be joined for Young Living. And I think that Iceland is one of the countries that has the most members if we compare by the population, by the number of people are living there. She is amazing. She has 2 children, son and a daughter, and she's actually quite new silver. She reached her silver in February, so congratulations, Eva. And what I can tell more about her, she's like, we have so many creative leaders here, and so many creative people. She's also one. She's fashion designer, she's a yoga teacher, and she's a Young Living amazing social media influencer, I would say that way. And now she's sharing with us how to dare, or from daring to sharing. Eva, where are you?
I'm here. Hi.
Great to see you.
Thank you for this amazing introduction. I hope I can live up to it.
Yes,
and it was lovely to see you.
Great to see you. Yeah. We have been driving around Iceland together, so the things that many of you would love to do it, and I recommend. The beautiful country and so beautiful people, one of my favorite countries. So please share what you have been doing. So many amazing things.
Thank you. Well, I was a bit, my sponsor, she always calls me the Sleeping Beauty, because I've been using the oils for 7 years, or just over 7 years. And I just recently started to do the business and to share my oils with other people. And I just started that a year ago. And now I've been silver 2 months, so I'm very proud of myself. Yay! And I mainly work online, and I almost only use Instagram. I just made a Facebook page off of my Instagram, so that I could promote my Zoom classes on Facebook. And I just did that. So, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and my story, just quickly. Just like P said, I am a mother of 2 amazing kids, and I thank you everyone that has been sharing, because it was like you all talked about what I was gonna talk about. So I hope I can bring something new to the table. But yeah, when I wanted to like reach out to people that are like me, because that's what we do. And I've, like P said, I'm a fashion designer, I'm a yoga teacher, and like I used to be more in the fashion industry, and then I moved to the more wellness industry. And I'm trying to combine those two personalities, the designer and the wellness woman in me, and try to combine them into one. I used to live in Denmark for 12 years, and I moved back to Iceland almost 4 years ago. And after I moved back to Iceland, I started working in marketing a lot. So I did marketing for this health restaurant and for a bakery and for a lot of people. I was like working to do their social media, to like build their Instagram accounts, to build their Facebook accounts, to build like their social media. And I just got like a paycheck for that. So I did a lot of these courses that we were talking about before. And I know a lot of people that like are very clever with all the hashtags and all the show. So that's what I did for a living. And I didn't really enjoy it. I had my own Instagram account, and it was like building slowly. I was sharing my life just as a mom and just from my lifestyle. And I could really feel that just like doing that and being like a yoga teacher, it was helping me to get more yoga clients. And then a year ago, a year ago, I decided to do this for me with the oils and just start doing the business, because I'd been really reluctant and afraid, mostly because I didn't want to be like judged as a seller, or that I was like making people buy stuff and stuff like that. That was like a really big blocks for me that I had to go through. And that's the beautiful thing about Young Living. Not only are the products and the oils amazing for your health, both your physical and mental health, but doing the business and embarking on this journey, it has changed me a lot, and it has helped me a lot to just grow as a human being, and to be just able to go through like my own judgment and just be bigger. So that's what has happened after I started sharing my lifestyle online. And I'm constantly on the phone, because it's working online is a job. And even though you're working on Instagram, people think you're just, scrolling or putting cute pictures on your Insta, but it's like it is a job, and it is a lot of work. And I think now, with the world being like it is, people are forced to be more online, of course. And I think the people that haven't really been working online are kind of forced to do so. But there are other people, like our clients, they're also forced to be more open to it. So it's like an amazing opportunity, because not only are we maybe afraid to start working online, but other people are like don't really know how to do it, or to be a online customer, and are reluctant to it. They need to, smell the oils, they need to see the things, but now they can't. So they have to learn to be a different kind of customer. So it's so good for all of us being more open to it. Yeah. And the thing that I think is the most important by far is just what everybody has been saying, and that's the authenticity, and just be completely yourself, because people feel somewhere if you're not telling the truth, or if you're doing this business just because it's an opportunity for making some money or an extra job or something, because people feel it somewhere. Even online, people feel it. So it was really important for me when I started sharing the oils online, to show that it was a part of my lifestyle, and people knew, because I had been like doing courses, like in real life, I'd been doing courses, and both yoga courses and teaching people how to live a toxic-free lifestyle and make their own products. And I had not been selling, like I had not been showing them any Young Living, which was like, now when I think back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I had been doing a lot of groundwork, so I had people were prepared. I had been just planting a huge garden of seeds, and so when I started like I don't know, doing my gardening, things came really quickly, and it was so important to me to do it authentically. And I think that's really important, because like some of the other ladies said, that people are fascinated by you. They are fascinated by the products, but they're mostly fascinated of you, and they want the feeling that you present. So you're selling a feeling, an emotion, or something that people can feel when they look at your pictures, when they look at your videos and stuff like that. So the tricky thing for me has been, because I had an Instagram account and I don't remember how many followers I had at that time, but it was like a bit bigger group than just my friends, and it was so like, because I want my followers to be loyal, and I know the followers that I have, they believe what I say, and I think that's far more important than having 30K. Is to have, it's better to have 500 that believe in you and are your fans and your real followers, than having loads and loads and loads and they just know that you're constantly making them buy stuff or something. So that's really important. And it's also like, you have to respect that, because if you have followers that trust you, you have to be careful. And I decided that I would not open another, because I think this is I get these questions from my downline, where they're like, oh, should I just open a new Instagram account? And I think all of my leaders, they did so. They opened their own Instagram account. I think mostly because they're young moms, they had a closed private account with just pictures of their kids. So they opened another account where they were doing only oily stuff. I decided that I would not open another account, because I was working with companies and I was like doing stuff, and I was like always trying to, promote myself as a yoga teacher and as a wellness lady. And so I decided that I was just going to keep it on my account, and instead of opening another one, and then just maybe lessen all the private stuff, if you know what I'm saying. So I did that, and I think neither is correct. I mean, you have to just feel what is correct for you, because I just thought that I'm already doing so much, and so like I work completely solo, and I'm doing loads of things, and I have 2 kids, and like so busy. So it was too complicated for me to start from scratch, like from another account. So I thought that I was just gonna use it as it is. And like sometimes I get the question from my followers, like, hey, I know that you're using a lot of these products. Do I buy it here? And then they point me out to maybe another Instagram account that is only products, like no face, no live, just products. So they maybe some followers don't know, like, is this something that I buy somewhere else so I can do what she does, or can I buy it from her? So it's so important for me to share that really regularly, that I, like, you buy the stuff from me, like I'm your lady and you want to join my tribe and my community. And I can just really feel, because I take dives like sometimes, and that's not a good thing. Like, I'm sharing my mistakes right now. Like, the consistency is so important. And I can just see that if I've been like super busy teaching a lot of yoga classes and not being as present as I am usually on my Instagram, and not show the oils, and just as soon as I post something that's really like solid stuff about the oils, then it just like whoosh. And it just happened like a few weeks ago. Then I was just like, I'm gonna make it to silver right now. And I did an IGTV, and I did like a quick 10-minute presentation about the starter kit. And I just did it as quickly as I could, just be me. And I didn't really have time for it, which was a good thing, because you don't have to be perfect. And that's the beauty of it. Because if you're always searching for the perfection and trying to do everything perfectly, people will not relate to you. You will lose your personality, and it is just your subconscious blocking you from your success. So just stop, just let go of the perfect thing. And that has been a journey for me, and you know, but it's so good to just drop it. And luckily, like, I did the IGTV and I had a few minutes, so I had to I just did a one take. I was just like, I love peppermint for this, and I love this for this, and I love this for this, blah, blah, blah. And in like 24 hours, I sold 10 starter kits, which was just like this. And I thought, like, oh, my followers, they know that they can buy a starter kit. They've all bought a starter kit or something, but it was just like 24 hours, 10 starter kits sold. So, and that just showed me, like, okay, I have to stick to this. And when I took the decision 1 year ago to just stop working for other companies, and they could just, you know, grow, and I would just make my lousy paycheck every month by giving them all my tricks. When I just decided to do that for me and now my team, the first thing I did was that I did like a text course. I just did like a question mark on my Insta story, just saying like, hey, do you want to, if you want to know about, like, learn everything about the toxic free living and essential oils, send me your phone number. And I got like loads of phone numbers, and I did like this week text course. Because if you have to go to an app, if you have to go to your mail app, or even your Instagram app or Facebook or WhatsApp or anything, you have to go there. But if it pops as a text, you're more likely to just read it. So I do this regularly, and now my team does this regularly too. That we do, like, it's a week text course, and it just pops on your phone, one text a day, and it's just like, hey, this is starter kit, da, da, da. And then why young living, and then the next day lavender, peppermint, and lemon, da, da, da. And just over like 6 or 7 days, and they are more inclined to read it, because if it just pops in your mail, you're like, oh, you get loads of mails and stuff like that. So that also, like when I did the text course, then I just jumped to executive right away, because it was more of a personal approach, I guess. So everything, and I think now, because I'm the last speaker, I think we can all agree on just like be you, be personal. They want you, and I just can feel like just now, when I was listening to you guys, I just like, because I just got this lipstick, a Savvy Mineral lipstick, which is awesome, and I took a really pretty picture for my Insta story of the lipstick, and it was like really pretty, and you can see the color, and then when I was just watching you guys and listening to you guys talk, one of my followers, he was just like, hey, I want to see it on. And then I just did a quick Insta story while I was listening to you, putting the lipstick on and saying to my followers, hey, getting ready for a Zoom call of 200 people. And then they were like, yeah, you look good. And then I got a lot of response to it, rather than this pretty lipstick picture. And I know, like, and that's the great thing about Instagram, is that you can like make a feed that it's really, really appealing and pretty. And then the Insta story is more of maybe, and also the IGTV, but like the Insta story, you get all the freedom in the world. Which is really nice, because then you can be more personal, you can like use oils, it doesn't have to be perfect, and they can see you like use it. And it's really like I've noticed, because I've been like this up and down, now I'm like trying to be up, but it has been up and down in me sharing my oily lifestyle. People want more, and like every time that I'm not giving them more, they're asking for more because they want it. And it's so important to not compare yourself to other people on Instagram and like what they are doing and how they're doing it and stuff like that, just because you're trying to find your team, you're trying to find your tribe, your family, and then you need to be authentic, and you want your team, even though they're not doing the business, even though they're just like in Essential Rewards or just doing the lifestyle, they want a sponsor and they want to be in a team they can relate to. And so I'm always like, I tell that to my team, like, tell your stories, post your picture. And like when we do, like I did 6 Zoom classes on the starter kit last week with different leaders from my team. And it was so good because we kind of know each other. They know that I love frankincense, and I know that this lady, she loves Stress Away. And then we could I told my story, my authentic Young Living story, and she told her Young Living story. And because we were we connect, but this particular leader, for example, when she started her journey, she was just so beat up. She was just totally finished, and she's very not I'm a yoga teacher, and people maybe can be a little intimidated by oh, she's a yoga teacher, she meditates every day, and she's just so relaxed and on it. Why she's doing something that I don't need to be doing, or I don't know. But it's so good to do classes with your leaders that are kind of not the same type as you are, and that's the thing, because people relate to then people relate to her and they relate to me, and we all have these different stories, and it's so inspiring and so important to share these stories. Because I think I've thought about it, I think if I would open an Instagram account right now that was only the products, and I would just boost my posts and do all the hashtags and all the correct sponsoring of the post, getting to the right target group and so on, I would probably sell loads of starter kits. But I think if you want to be sustainable and like a sustainable leader of a sustainable team, you have to be authentic, you have to be you, you have to answer all the questions. Like sometimes, like my boyfriend, he's not a social media guy, he hates, like he doesn't really use social media, and he's always just like, you're always on the phone, stop being on the phone. And I'm like, this is my work, and I have to answer the questions. Like of course I'm helping them figuring out stuff on their own, but I also, like, I have to take care of my crowd, you know. So it's like a fine balance, and it's so, like, I agree, like first time I talked to the camera, because it was so important to me to be cool, and everything is cool, and you look good, and this looks good. So when I was just gonna talk to the camera and say like, hey, I'm gonna do a oil course, you know, it was so challenging, and I did it many times before I posted it. But like after you've done it once, you can do it again and again and again. And my first live, it was really nerve-wracking, because I thought that I would not gonna have, nobody would watch, nobody would ask any questions. But then, like, those who watched, they were so interested in it, and they came with all the correct questions, and it just went really well. So it's just everything. It's like, it's your personal journey of growth, and you get bigger and better, and it's challenging, but it's so rewarding. And I think the post-it advice, that's really a good advice. But I think the most important thing is that you have to learn to love your, you know, face, and love your voice, and love your sound current, and people will know. I mean, I don't mean it in a narcissist way, but like, you have an important message to share to people, and you've experienced a major change using these products, and it's your duty to pass it on and just give it away, and like, just come and join me in this beautiful journey of amazingness, you know. So I don't know, I think like a lot of things that I was gonna say, we've talked about them, and the most important thing is just show up and be you, and don't be afraid. People love authenticity, and people feel when you talk with, like, from your heart, and that's the most important thing. You don't have to be a social media expert, you don't have to know all the hashtags and stuff. You just have to, you know, be willing to grow and shine, and that's amazing, and we all deserve that. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Awesome. I think it was a great finish of this call with your value, with your tips. Thank you so much for all the input you gave us, all your heart you gave us. We could feel it, and I saw you touched all of us. So thank you all for joining this call. Thank you to our speakers. It was amazing. We learned a lot about creating online communities, hosting classes online, creating a virtual space for team and member communication. We learned about attracting your tribe through social media. We learned about the Facebook algorithm and why it is becoming even more important to be authentic, as we heard from all of you, and be you. This is the message today. Be you on social media. And also we heard about that sometimes it's worth it more having quality than quantity. So this is also one of the big messages today. And what I like to share with you guys is that maybe now in this coronavirus crisis, social media became really social. You know, it was so many years and times that people blame on social media because they are scared to use it, scared to open up. A lot of people didn't understand really that this is a really good tool to connect with people and also build a business and share what you have. And maybe now in these times, because people are isolated, staying home, being alone, the most of the people. Now they have a window to the world. The window, now every one of us have a window now to the world, to us here. And you guys are the ambassadors. And I think we heard from 4 really great experts with heart and authentic and real how you can do it. And I'm so glad that we won you for this. Thank you also so much to my country manager colleagues to bringing up this great speakers. And the good news is we recorded the whole thing, and as soon as possible, I will give my best. It's still tonight. I will share the link for the video to my colleagues. They will share it on their channels to you guys, and we will post it on our social media platforms, and then you can share it with the world. So thank you so much to everyone. Stay healthy, and we love you. Bye-bye.